Hi, this is Krista at The Secret Yarnery. Today, I'm going to show you how to make tassels. If English isn't your first language, hit this gear on the video and scroll through to find your preferred dialect. In this step-by-step tutorial, I'm going to show you how to add tassels to a crochet scarf or blanket or wrap or poncho, any project at all. And I'm going to show you 2 easy tips for trimming your tassels to be perfect. You can use the same yarn from your project, or you can use a completely different yarn. You can also adjust the thickness of your tassels just by adding more strands. To make your tassels, you're going to need a sharp pair of scissors. You will also need a hardcover book because it has a nice little track for your scissors that is 1 inch or 1.5 inches longer around than you want your tassels to be. I want about 6-inch tassels for this blanket, so I found a hardcover book that is 13 inches around. And you'll also need a couple crochet hooks. If crochet or yarn is your jam, please subscribe. And if you want to follow along with a written pattern, all of my patterns are available on my website, secretyarnery.com. And you don't have to worry about being able to read a pattern. All of my patterns are written in plain English, just like I was sitting there right beside you. To start your tassels, take your pairs of yarn where we changed colors and give those a little knot. Just one little school knot all the way along, just to secure our tails, just like that. And now go ahead and get your yarn. So that is 1 wrap, 2 wraps, and you want 6 of these per tassel. And now you can just take your scissors and slide them underneath that little space in your hardcover book. And there are your tassels. So now go ahead and do this for each of your 5 colors. So get your 6 strands of yarn, as even as you can, and just hold it open with your thumb. Grab a smaller crochet hook. I'm using a 4.5, and slide it into this very first spot right on the edge. And you want to make sure you have 2 or 3 strands of yarn on the top of your hook. Get those loops on your hook. Pull them a bit tight so they're as small as they can be. You have some tension, and pull it through that stitch. Just like that. And make a big loop about 4 centimeters or 1.5 inches. You can use a crochet hook or your fingers, but just pinch that yarn and bring it through. And snug it down. Then just give every strand a little bit of a pull, just to make sure you don't have any loops waiting on this side. So now next is going to go right into the center of this colored stripe. So I'm just going to pop my hook in right here. I want to make sure I have 2 strands on the top of my hook, and I want to get my blue yarn ready. So 6 strands, and again, just keep it on your thumb. Slide it onto your hook, pull it down. You want these to be as small as they can be on your hook, so it'll be easier to get it through that chain or that stitch. And now bring them through for 1 or 2 inches. And you can either use your hook or your fingers. Just slide your fingers in or your hook and bring those tails through. So 1 nice little slip stitch. If you have your other tails nearby, you can poke those through also, that match your tassel, like that, and snug it down. Again, grab your tails individually just to make sure you don't have any super loose ones. You don't have to pull them like really, really, really hard, but you just want to make sure they're not gaping or you don't have a big loop of yarn up there. So there's 2. So you can just pause the video and keep working along, putting your 6 strands of yarn into the appropriate spot, making sure you have 2 or 3 strands of the stitch of your scarf on the top of your hook, and I'll meet you when you have all your tassels joined. Now to trim your tassels is line up your tassels with the grout line if you have a tile floor somewhere in your house, and then use that grout line as a guide for your scissors. So you can move your blanket back until the tassels are, the short strands are close to that grout line. You don't want to be wasting too much of your yarn. And then get your scissors and you can just run your scissors in that grout line and just snip off the long ones. Another way you can do it is you can use some masking tape and just line up where your shortest ones are, keeping it parallel to your scarf, and just kind of tape those down to hold them. And then one more piece a little higher up, just at the tip of those short ones, like this guy right there, these ones over here, just like that. And then just to check, you can use a measuring tape and just measure that all your tassels are about the same length. Now taking a larger pair of scissors, sharp ones if you have, and just slide in between the tape right along your table. Just like that. And you can just slide your scissors again just to see if you've forgotten any. Nope, came through great. So now we can take off our lower masking tape with our ends on it. Isn't that cute? And our top tape. And there are our cute trimmed tassels. And most of your ends didn't make a mess. And now you are finished. So I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. I'm waiting for you in that video right there, and stay hooked.